So, with NASCAR now part of the Crew Motorfest, we need to take a closer look at the new discipline that comes with it, the Cup cars. Currently there are 5 different models: the next-gen Camry XSE, the next-gen Camaro ZL1, the next-gen Mustang Dark Horse, the Henson Custom, and the Cup Car Edition Impala Sport Sedan, which we'll get later this month. While trying these cars out in the NASCAR Playlist and Summit contest, I couldn't help but notice this discipline's maximum performance level, 750. Sound familiar? It's the same max performance level as Street Tier 2. So in this video, we're going to do a bit of Mythbusters. First, we'll see which of these Cup cars is the fastest in straight lines and cornering. Then we'll compare the Camry, Camaro, and Mustang next-gen Cup cars to their Street Tier 2 counterparts to see which discipline is actually better at the same rank. You know how I love testing and experimenting in racing games like these, so if you want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Oh, and leave a like on this video too. With all that said, let's get to experimenting. In terms of top speed, it's a close race between Cup cars and Street Tier 2, as both can reach over 240 miles per hour with nitrous. Cup cars, however, have slightly more powerful universal nitrous, making them a bit faster. It also helps that Cup cars, despite having 4 or 5 gears, feature sequential gearboxes, except for the Impala Sport Sedan, which uses an H-pattern manual shifter. The next-gen cars all produce a maximum of 670 horsepower, and in terms of in-game stats, they are nearly identical, with only slight differences in lateral Gs and acceleration. The Henson Custom, by comparison, can exceed 700 horsepower and has a much higher lateral G rating. With all that in mind, let's see which Cup car is the fastest at Trailblazing Forever and Shinjuku style. The Henson Custom is quite powerful, isn't it? That's the car to choose for Cup Car events and summit contests or grand races. Now, we'll return to Trailblazing forever and Shinjuku style with only the next-gen cars because we still need to sort out the performance level ratings. Both Cup Cars and Street Tier 2 max out at a performance level of 750, but which one is faster overall? I'm going to compare our 3 next-gen Cup Cars to their Street Tier 2 counterparts. However, there's a problem. This game doesn't include a Toyota Camry. Even if the Camry in its most powerful version, the TRD, were to enter the Crew Motorfest, it would probably be a Street Tier 1 car at best because it has front-wheel drive and weighs about as much as an M3 sedan. Plus, the current Camry available only has up to 232 horsepower, and even if it has all-wheel drive, it's a 4-cylinder hybrid with a CVT transmission. The thing is, the Camry isn't the only car Toyota uses for stock car racing. In the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts series, they race the GR Supra, so we'll use that and the Liberty Walk edition instead. So, in addition to those, the next-gen Mustang Dark Horse will compete against its regular street version and the Chase Squad edition, and the next-gen Camaro ZL1 will go up against its standard street version and the Rift edition. Let's see which discipline really is faster. And there you have it. In some cases, it's not even close. Although Cup cars are faster on straights, they lose a lot of ground in corners compared to Street Tier 2, making them noticeably slower overall. However, if there's one thing Cup cars excel at, it's their slipstream speed, 2 to 3 times greater than that of Street Tier 2, which I can tell from how quickly the AI can catch up to me on many regular street courses, not just NASCAR ovals. If I were to give advice on tuning and driving Cup cars, it would be as follows. Cup cars are initially set up for more understeer than oversteer, so right out of the box, despite being rear-wheel drive, it's clear that the car wants to corner as little as possible. Understeer might not be ideal for technical tracks and road courses, but it's the best setup for maintaining high speeds on ovals. That said, you'll need to reconsider when to brake into corners and when to accelerate out, because these cars are more challenging. You should tweak the Pro settings to make the cars feel more balanced. Lower the rear aero to improve balance and prevent oversteering. Soften the front springs and dampers and stiffen the rears. That's what I did when testing these cars, and overall, it helped a lot. Another tip, I know I said NASCAR is a bit of a contact sport with everyone bumping each other on speedways just to stay in the slipstream, but try to avoid hard hits as much as possible. Whether an opponent hits you or you decide to ram someone in the back, the repercussions can vary greatly because all it takes is one hit for your car to lose grip at speed or even flip out. In fact, if you race against the AI on the game's hardest difficulty on any of the standard road courses, they find these cars to be a handful. You'll see them discombobulate all over trying to find grip, especially if they're drafting each other. So, in conclusion, Street Tier 2 is faster than Cup cars by a mile, but Cup cars offer a more exciting experience as they favor close, bumper-to-bumper racing. That can all turn into chaos if you're not careful, just like NASCAR in real life. On that note, thank you all for watching. If there's anything else you want to see from Cup cars, let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Until then, stay safe and I'll see you later.